I'm Chris with iPhone in Canada. Sorry for the delay in new content. My explanation will be in the description box. Now on to the new stuff. The much anticipated addition to the Final Fantasy series is now available for your iOS devices. Final Fantasy Dimensions went live on the App Store today, August 31st. For the vast majority of us, this is a new game in the series, but it's actually a port of the Final Fantasy Legends game that was only released for Japanese flip phones in 2010. Now, before you say anything, it's totally different from the Game Boy Final Fantasy Legends games that were released previously as well. Final Fantasy Dimensions returns to its 2D pixel art graphics. Of course, they are updated and look amazing on the Retina display. If you're a fan of the Final Fantasy games, the look and feel will be very familiar. You have your large storyline centered around the light, darkness, and crystals, and you once again have your job-driven path characters. Final Fantasy Dimensions is broken up into several parts. You have your prologue and then 4 chapters. In all, you get upwards of about 40 hours of gameplay depending on how fast you move along. But the game doesn't come cheap, and this has ruffled the feathers of some people. The prologue is free, but the chapters cost extra. Chapter 1 is $2.99, while chapters 2, 3, and 4 are $9.99 each. Or you can buy the full game for a cool $29. This is a lot more than the dollar or two people are used to paying for iOS games, so the verdict is still out on if the pricing will keep people away. Also, as of its release, you can only play the prologue. There's an issue with the in-app purchases, so you can't get the next chapters, but it's hoped the issues will be corrected soon. The gameplay works really well for your touch devices. In fact, being a fan of the series, I much prefer the touch interface for the 2D Final Fantasy games. I've always found using the controller and having to navigate through the various screens with buttons to be slow and tedious. I find the game now a lot quicker. Of course, it's not all perfect. The movement of the characters on screen isn't the best with your fingers. There are several different control types to try out. My favorite so far is slide. This allows you to touch anywhere on the screen to move, so you're not bound to the one location of the on-screen control pad. The non-boss battles are of course random, and I've found from just playing the prologue, they're much more frequent. If you're tired of tapping the screen all the time and aren't worried about using magic or special abilities, you can set the fighting to auto. That way you just sit back and watch your team slaughter the enemies. I can't go into much more detail as I've only completed the prologue, which takes about 25 minutes depending on how much time you want to spend leveling up your characters or collecting gold to buy better weapons and armor. I'm a huge fan of the Final Fantasy series, especially the 2D games, so I'm really excited to play this one. Because of the replay value and the amount of time it takes to complete, I'm not all that concerned about the pricing, although I know it will be a big drawback for many. For more daily iPhone and iPad news, make sure you check out iPhone in Canada and iPadincanada.ca. I'm Chris with iPhone in Canada. Thanks for watching.